So, apparently, the Princess of Wales's parents are having some real serious difficulties and serious financial difficulties. And as it turns out, it looks like they owe quite a bit of money. I mean, their business Party Pieces has gone into administration slash bankruptcy, and it was acquired at a really reduced price by some entrepreneur. And people are basically saying that some of the creditors are saying that they feel betrayed by the Princess of Wales's parents. So fury at the Middletons as their Party Pieces business goes bust with debts of £2.6 million. Disbelieving creditors talk of, quote, betrayal, end quote, over collapse of firm run by Princess of Wales's parents, Carol and Michael. Apparently, they owe the tax bureau £612,000. And, apparently the company helped to send the Princess of Wales and her two siblings to very expensive private, colleges for $42,000 a year, and to buy a $4.7 million house in Berkshire. So they've done well, certainly. It's not like they took out the debt and, they didn't, have a payoff for it. I mean, they are now estimated to owe $2.6 million, and they also owe $218,000 to RBS Bank for coronavirus business interruption loan, as well as $456,000 to other creditors and $1.4 million in unsecured loans. So I guess the unsecured loans, I mean, that should be easier to get out of. Wow, it's a little shocking. I mean, I spoke briefly about it a few days ago, and someone chastised me that the Middletons some things should be left out of, I guess, my YouTube channel. The Middletons are pretty much untouchable. They have nothing to do with any of this, with Meghan and Harry and William and Kate. And I mean, look, I think I've tried to be fair, and I think I've tried to be respectful to the extent I can. But I can say that if Meghan's mother, Harry's wife's mother, I mean, this is William's wife's parents, the Middletons, who are very well known in England and in the world. I mean, they get international press coverage in other contexts. Kate's sister Pippa Middleton's wedding was publicly televised, I think. I mean, they were just recently together at the wedding of the King and Queen of Jordan's son. They're VIPs, they're public figures. So I do think that, it's newsworthy if they go bankrupt. And, I think it's newsworthy. I mean, it's not something to gloat about, obviously. I mean, people have financial problems. I mean, obviously, yes. But these types of people having financial problems is kind of shocking. I mean, these are the parents of the future Queen of England. Their daughter is married to one of the wealthiest men in the world. William just inherited a multi-billion-dollar duchy of Cornwall from his father, King Charles III. King Charles's personal wealth, as well as the wealth of the monarchy, are in the billions. So when you say that these types of people are bankrupt, then you start scratching your head. Like, if they're bankrupt, I mean, what's my problem? Why do I feel bad about my issues and my problems? Because how do people like this go bankrupt, How does it become a public scandal? How do they not quietly take care of it in the family? How does Kate's husband and his side of the family not help them pay this off? This now makes complete sense, however, because Kate and Camilla seems to have had a falling out to me. I sense a rift. You know, they used to be very close. There was a time when Meghan was having a lot of trouble in the press, and we saw Kate photographing Camilla, and everything looked very, very cozy with Kate, Camilla, William, Charles, all of that. And all of a sudden, around the time of the coronation, it just seemed like things fell apart very abruptly. And certain types of press reports started to come out that seemed to be anti-William. It seemed like they were trying to throw William under the bus. And then it started to seem like they were also throwing Kate under the bus. You started to see reports about her being lazy, her not doing enough. Then you saw even more aggressive articles that she's trying to eclipse Charles and at the Chelsea Flowers show and this and that. And then even at the coronation, that separate video that William and Kate made and showing up late to the coronation. And, you know, Jeremy Clark or one of these, I'm not even sure which one it was at this point, but it may have been Jeremy Clark, but do correct me if I'm wrong, doing this article or interview where he basically, you know, called Camilla old. I mean, you know, what a revelation. She's old and tired, and she forgot who helped her get to be queen. And it was just absolutely shocking. I mean, this was a few weeks ago. So I remember making a video about that. Like, how does a man like this say something like this about Camilla? And so you started to hear press reports that were bizarre from my way of thinking. You know, press reports you just don't expect to hear. Somebody trying to throw William and Kate on the bus, and William and Kate's team trying to throw Camilla and Charles under the bus, or sort of make them look bad at the coronation. And now it makes complete sense, because this guy, Jeremy Clark, or whoever it was, if it wasn't Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong, even talked about the number of tickets that were supposedly distributed to Kate for the coronation. And apparently Kate did not receive enough tickets to bring her entire family to the coronation. You know, she only received, I think, 4 tickets. So, I mean, it seems her parents went and her sister and husband went, but her brother and his partner were not able to go and things like that. And so there was this thing with the tickets. Okay, this makes complete sense. So here's my theory. I think, this is my opinion, I don't know for a fact, I'm not stating a fact, I'm saying it's my opinion, that the Middletons did ask for help from the royal family, from their daughter Kate and her husband William, first of all. And I think that the conversations got to Charles and Camilla second of all, because Charles is the king. And I think the answer was no. I think they were turned down for help. I think they asked for help, and from the top, the answer was no, and I think they blame Camilla for the no. I think they think it's Camilla who told Charles to say no. And that's just my theory, right? Because that now makes sense as to why would they suddenly turn on each other in this way. But, you know, it's curious, because I say to myself, what if this were Doria, Meghan's mother, and she owed $2.6 million, and she had a company that went bankrupt, and she's not even the future queen, but she is married to Harry? Because, you know, there are all these stories about Meghan and her mother being a bunch of grifters, you know, and, you know, freeloaders and gold diggers. and little nobodies from nowhere trying to social climbers and all kinds of adjectives from people like Piers Morgan and others have said about, Megan is a, Piers has said Megan is a social climber. And certainly all over social media, others have said that Megan is a grifter, she's a liar, and her mother is a grifter. And I mean, I've even heard other things they saying about this woman's mother that I'm like, wow, they had me believing that at one point this woman was in jail. I read that on online, and then I see other stories that this is a highly intelligent woman who was at the top of her class, was a member of a group called the Apex Club in her high school in the 1970s, and was and is an upstanding citizen in society who was married when she had her child Megan and divorced when Megan was very young, and has been doing her best to be a social worker and yoga teacher. But the what's being said about her on social media is amazing. And they also call her a grifter, and Megan is a grifter. When you look at Megan's life before she met Harry, I mean, it's more fabulous than anything any of the royals are living. But you're not seeing that because they wiped that out and replaced that with the identity of grifter and liar for Megan and her mother. So just imagine if it was Megan's mother who was in bankruptcy with a $2.6 million, bankruptcy situation on her hands. What would they be saying? And then imagine if Meghan and her mother had asked Harry to go ask his father to bail out Meghan's mother. What would everyone be saying? I'm not saying that Kate's mother asked for anything. I'm saying this is my suspicion. This is what happened. They asked for help and they were declined, and now they've turned on Camilla pretty much, and even Charles. This is my theory, right? But it's still very shocking. The whole thing is very shocking. Your thoughts?